Staying in Southern Africa, Zimbabwe liberalized its foreign exchange markets and raised interest rates among a new raft of measures aimed at stabilizing the nation's currency and reining in resurgent inflation. The central bank confirmed the sale of foreign currency at market-determined exchange rates through banks on Wednesday. The measure follows advice last month from the International Monetary Fund that the country remove restrictions on exchange rate, and after the Zimbabwean dollar fell 30% at an auction to 3,674 per dollar. Comrade Treasure Basopo, a Zimbabwean economist, joins me from Harare for more on this. Thank you very much for giving us your time. What are the main factors contributing to the continued depreciation of the Zimbabwean dollar against the US dollar?
Oh, thank you very much, News Central TV, for demonstrating interest in covering the Zimbabwean economic situation. I think there's been a lot of challenges surrounding the Zimbabwean economic situation, in particular the currency issue. And it's also a situation that has been aggravated by a massive the interplay of lack of political confidence within the leadership, and of course incompetence on the part of the government.
How does the rapid depreciation of the Zimbabwean dollar impact the country's economy and, of course, its citizens?
As you are aware that this is not the first experience of the Zimbabwean economy to be facing such a catastrophic economic, inflationary rise. You are aware that at some point in time, the Zimbabwean economy had to be dollarized. I think that was in 2009, after the formation of the government of national unity in 2008, simply because the economy had failed. And I think our highest inflation rate had reached to, I think that was 6.5 quintillion and November decillion, a number that has never been seen, which means 65 with 12 zeros ahead of it. So many zeros had been slashed. We are back in 2019. The Zimbabwean economy, the Zimbabwean leadership, they say that they were going to begin to print money, which was a reverse of the dollarization process which had taken in 2008. But because of lack of the confidence with the people and lack of consensus, if you remember 2019, I think they announced in June that they're going to introduce a national currency, and by July the inflation had already reached 175%. By March of 2020, inflation had reached 500. Right now, as we are speaking, we are already back to where we were in 2008, where people are taking bags and wheelbarrows, having large sums of money, and the money that they are purporting to be money is violating all principles and characteristics of what is supposed to be money. It's not. It cannot store value. That thing that they're giving us, they're imposing it on the people. It is not bankable. It's not portable, and it's affecting the people in so many ways, including the business and the ordinary person. The people their incomes have been eroded. You know, as a matter of fact, that people's currencies, including those professionals within the government, they are earning as little as $30 simply because of the inflation. Unfortunately, the government is paying the people in RTGS, which is in local currency, but the government itself is charging prices in US dollars.
That's quite worrisome. You mentioned re-dollarization. What does that mean in context of the Zimbabwean dollar, and how might it help address the currency's ongoing instability?
I think re-dollarization is just an attempt to listen to what the people have been saying, because as I'm saying that 2019, when they said, no, we are removing or we are reversing the dollarization process which had taken place, the people demonstrated in the streets. For example, people were arrested. Many of us were arrested and harassed by the state because the citizens are saying, this is not the move we want, because we've already lost our pensions because of this particular process. Even within this process, quite a lot of people lost their money within their bank accounts and their savings simply because of the inflation. So it's affecting the people, and the government is now saying, okay, fine, we now want to come back to the dollarization process, but they are not sincere because they themselves are not even prepared. Our Zimbabwean government's total expenses, 70% of them is money that is attributed to salaries, but they are not paying those salaries in US dollars, and they are not prepared to be paying those salaries in US dollars. So it's affecting the people, and the government is not sincere enough to be moving on with this policy consistency and expectations is advocated by the ordinary people.
In light of the recent depreciation, what measures can the Zimbabwean government take to stabilize the value of the local currency and restore confidence in its economy?
Okay, I think one of the most important things is to find a political consensus. Politically, it's not before we get to the economic instruments and economic measures. There's need for political consensus within the people of Zimbabwe, in particular within the opposition forces, within the largest stakeholders, that is the churches, the students, the opposition, the parliamentarians. Right now, as I'm speaking, there's massive repression. Students are incarcerated in Chikurubi maximum prison. Members of parliament, they are within Chikurubi, which is the maximum prison in the country right now. So there's not going to be any measure which is going to be reached economically without getting into a good consensus with the ordinary people. But of course, there is also what they can do in terms of arresting this massive inflation which is taking place. We have seen government officials benefiting from this dollarization process, where we saw the vice president himself participating in quasi-fiscal activities where they were printing money, giving their runners in the streets. The runners would buy hard currency, which is US dollars, and the government officials would be using the central bank to just print the money, and that increases demand supply in the country, and obviously that's inflationary. So all these lack of discipline, corruption, incompetence must be arrested.
Thank you very much, Comrade Treasure, for speaking with us.